Franny here. Let's talk about the game threes and all the excitement that came with that. Let's talk first about the Aces game versus the New York Liberty. Um, there had to be a great speech talk by the coach of Hammond, Becky Hammond for the Las Vegas Aces. They've forgotten who they were, and I said this at the very beginning. They've spent most of their time this year learning how to be famous, doing advertisements, that type of a thing, and they hadn't been as serious about their game as they had in the past 2 years. Sometimes that's what fame and fortune does to you. So they got spoiled a little bit. The Liberty had beaten them the past 5 times, so they had that in the back of their head about whether they were good enough to beat the Liberty. But they came through, and the bear got poked now. Asia Wilson had a good game, but not only that, you had Chelsea Gray and just all their players playing on all cylinders. The other thing is, it was a very, very physical game, and that benefits the Las Vegas Aces because they cry and whine a lot about the fouls they get. And so then the officials don't want to deal with them sometimes, I think. Anyway, I thought it was a little lopsided with the foul calls. Normally, you never see the Liberty say anything, but they were really a little upset about certain things not being called. But you got to give the Aces credit because they cut the head of the snake off, which was Sabrina Ionesco. They held her to, I think it was 5 points. So she was running the offense. She was doing everything. So I think maybe you're going to see the coaches make a big changes in this area. They've got to get Ionesco going, but they also have to be smart enough to make sure everybody else is included in that. And they started to doubt themselves a little bit. Their shooters were off a little. So you had them just starting to doubt what they were thinking about, what was going on, that type of a thing. So they ended up losing by 20. So now the tables have been turned. Now are they in the head of the Liberty? And the Liberty have got to say, look, we've been good all year. We've beaten them all year. We've got to try to come back and just even things up on our count. They win this game, they win. If they lose this game, they have the advantage of going back home to New York. But it's going to be a very tough game for the Liberty to win because the confidence has now come back on all ends of the Aces. So they're now thinking like they're the champions that they were. So this, if the Liberty could possibly grab a game today, that'd be great, but probably going back to New York. We'll see. Anyway, so and now let's talk about the Lynx versus the Suns. The Lynx got their player, Collier, on board working with everybody, so they had a great game. They did a great game with the offensive rebounding. You had it just go back and forth, back and forth. Mabry wasn't as good as she could have been, but you had all 5 starters for the Lynx hitting their shots and playing great defense. So if they do that again, it could be over at Connecticut. But again, this is questionable, but I think the Lynx have the better team. It's going to be, as Collier goes, so goes the Lynx, and you'll always get a great game from Bonner and Thomas. It's whether you have a Mabry that's on. So it's that. If they're not on, then the Lynx will take it. If they're on, it's going to come down to the wire, and it could go either way. But I think the Lynx are the better team at this point in time, but it's going to be proven at home, and they've got a lot to fight for at home. Could come down to the officiating again. The rougher the officiating, I mean, the less that they're calling fouls, it favors the Suns. The more they're calling the fouls in the way that they should be calling, it would favor the Lynx. So they're just not as physical a team. They play basketball. They don't play let's rough the passers and let's hold on to the cutters and all that stuff. I don't believe in that. So we'll see what a great game it's going to be. But okay, my predictions have come through so far, but we'll see what happens today. Could go anyway. All right, you have a good game, and we'll have some commentary at the end here. You make a comment. Let's see what you think. Okay, take care.